Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of the Football Commentaries Podcast. Today, we are joined by only two people again. We are joined with Ben, who's back. He's returned, and we've got Harvey again.
Hello.
With a 100% record with the ones that I've asked him to do. Subject on that, we've got a special episode coming out on Sunday around 5 o'clock. It is a special episode with just me and Kenzie. We discuss Scottish football, and we talk about Rangers a lot, Celtic, Scottish teams in Europe, how they do in the Premier League, kind of all that kind of stuff. But we'll stick with what we're doing today. As you can see by the title, we are ranking the top 5 European leagues. So by the top 5 European leagues, I do mean the Premier League, the Spanish League, the German League, the Italian League, and in fact the French League as well. Kind of debated whether to put them in the French League because I have a feeling they might finish 5th. But it's better to say top 5 leagues and top 4. So decided to throw them in anyway. Obviously, we are all viewers mainly of the Premier League. Do you think it's the most exciting league in terms of the football? Because obviously we're known for the attacking style of play. Like the fast flowing.
Yeah, I would say yeah, because mainly when people from abroad transfer to an English team, it's like in an interview they mostly say I've always dreamed of playing in England and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Just tired of playing stuff. So
yeah, that is actually true, because you could always get, because mainly obviously when these players are now coming to England, they would have grown up with like the 90s Premier League, mid 90s, late 90s, which pretty much the peak of the Premier League. You had the invincible, Arsenal, Henry, you had United at their best. You had the Arsenal, early 2000s. So like a lot of players growing up would have watched the Premier League, because back then we had the best players and the best teams and the most exciting rivalries. So that is a good point. They always do mention, I dreamed of playing for this team or that team. If that is all true, we don't know, because I think was it Richarlison who said that he'd always dreamt of playing for Everton. He's like,
yeah.
He's like, did you really, mate? In Brazil? Yeah, Everton, they're the one for me. I kind of pondered on that one, but the Premier League, I think recently there's arguments saying that we're kind of starting to mould into a bit like a League One, like a League One kind of league, where we have just one or two teams absolutely rinsing everyone, if you know what I mean. And there's and a lot of teams are becoming, kind of like rollover teams, at the bottom half, where there's not many upsets anymore, really. Only the rare occasion one. Do you feel like this is only like a premature thing, like Liverpool and Man City just dominating? Obviously Liverpool more this season. Or do you feel like maybe for 5-10 years it could just be the Liverpool and City kind of handing each other the title?
I don't think it will. I think quite a few.
If so, who is going to come in and start challenging with them big teams?
I think over the next few years, I think Brendan Rodgers will start building a strong Leicester team.
Yeah.
I think if you give it a few years, I think if Lampard gets the time
and the finances,
I think if they get the backing, I think they'll build strong enough teams to challenge.
Yeah, because I think that's like the common factor in the Liverpool and City doing so well. They were backed. Obviously, Chelsea in Lampard, he's only just been there. They had a ban, so they're not being able to back him as of yet. Obviously, Leicester, they're gradually building their team up, and like we say with United, they've stated quite a few times that they're going to back Solskjaer, which fair play to them. There's a lot of times where you could have possibly sacked him. Maybe not Solskjaer's fault, but just off form, and you've stuck with him. So I feel like if these teams do get the backing and the money, you just never know. Obviously, the whole pandemic will have a massive effect on money and transfers, and I don't think many transfers will happen for a few years in terms of big, big transfers. To see all the money being lost. But I feel like the backing of teams is huge. In terms of winning the Premier League, who do you think's more likely going to win it? Like, other than City and Liverpool, whenever that is, who do you think has like the strongest future or credentials to win a Premier League?
Well, obviously, if United start to build the team up again, and like as you said before, when we had Ronaldo and Scholes and stuff, if we build another team like that, then we'll be flying, and hopefully we can start winning trophies. But that's obviously going to take time to get the players in and stuff.
Yeah, sorry for any buffering that just happened on the stream. Do you think United could ever get back to being that calibre of club and have that calibre of a team?
Yeah.
And if so, how long will that take? Because obviously it's a big rebuilding stage.
I think it'll take like at least 2 years for them to be at the peak of potentially winning.
2 years? That's quite a short time.
Yeah.
Do you really think it'll be that soon?
I think most of it will happen very soon. Because
you got to remember on current form in terms of like teams winning the league, the point margin you've got to aim for is up to 100 points, which is mental. Because obviously City's season 100 points, season after that Liverpool and City got 97 and 98, and then Liverpool would have been on 100-point season for sure. So do you think United could realistically get that amount of points in 2 years and challenge for a title? Because that does seem like the point margin you need to challenge.
I think it'll be a few more years and 2 or 3 years. 5 or 6 years, and then I think if Ollie's got the players and he's been backed and he knows the club, I think can really start challenging. But I think next season we'll be challenging for FA Cups and League Cups without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. I think we'll want silverware in the next few seasons, and I think we'll get it.
Yeah, because I think as well, in terms of winning trophies, people don't really see that as the gradual, matter. It's like, oh, you got to win trophies like this season. It's like, winning trophies in general can take a little bit of time, instead of kind of like a checklist in a way. So they're like, well, let's win this first, or let's try and win this first, then that, and then try and build on that. So I think if you could just maybe start challenging for maybe, like a League Cup, then maybe an FA Cup, then get into, Champions League again, try and go far, I think the future could definitely be bright. Just to move away from United and still talk about English football, obviously last season we took up all the places in European finals. Obviously Tottenham, Liverpool, Champions League, Chelsea, Arsenal, Europa League. Wasn't a great Champions League final. For me, it didn't really represent what English football's about. Obviously, everyone was disappointed with the final, but did you ever think that final was going to be that bad? Because it was a horrific Champions League final. If we're going to be honest, it was poor.
I think the penalty early on kind of killed it.
Killed it massive, 100% massively. Imagine the way I see that is, imagine if that's your team.
Yeah.
Imagine that you're in Champions League, you're buzzing, you've had all the build up. Because obviously the build up for the Champions League finals like a month or two, isn't it? When you're there. Yeah. And to get given an unfair penalty against you, and to go 1-0 down in a minute, that must kill all momentum you've got. So I completely agree. But I still feel like after that, it's kind of like Liverpool kind of shut up shop, which is weird.
Yeah.
Against the Tottenham side, because let's be honest, I'm not saying they fluked to get to the final or anything, but it was unexpected for them to get there. Do you feel like if it was any other team other than Tottenham as an English club, that final may have been a little bit better? In terms of like a City or even like a United, say if they, I know United, wouldn't have been able to get there, but it was just anyone else. Because it's not even like a rivalry in there. Like there's no rivalry between like Tottenham and Liverpool. So do you feel like if any other team, it could have been a little bit more exciting?
Yeah, I think so.
100%. But yeah, like you said, that penalty was just killed it. And then you had the Europa League final, Chelsea Arsenal. That was a good final. I enjoyed watching that. I'm not sure the fans enjoyed watching it when they were at the stadium because that was a little bit of a joke. All the way in Baku and have the seats about 20 miles away from the pitch. Thought that was a little bit of a joke. But in this season, English teams are kind of not struggling in Europe, but we definitely kind of took, like, it wasn't as good as last season. Obviously, we had Chelsea getting battered to Bayern at home. Tottenham had been knocked out before this all happened. Liverpool got knocked out. So there's straight away 3 out of the 4 English teams in the Champions League that were going to get knocked out. Because I'm presuming Chelsea would have. Obviously, City may have been the only one to survive, but there was still one more leg of that. Do you feel like that season where everyone got to the final, was that maybe a little bit of just a one-season wonder? Or do you think next season, or do you think this season was kind of just a bit of a slip-up season in a way? Like, which way would you view that?
I don't think this season was a slip-up season. Obviously, Liverpool grafted this season
into the Premier.
Yeah, Liverpool. Obviously, no one really likes it except from Liverpool fans.
Yeah, it's so true.
You have to admit they did pretty well.
Very well.
And the team they've got is scary.
Yeah.
At this moment, for like, never. Obviously, Liverpool were a good side, but the team they've got now, it's just frightening.
Yeah. Do you kind of think they put so much energy into the Premier League that did kind of have an effect on the Champions League a little bit? And knowing that they got to the final 2 seasons before and won it the season before, do you think they kind of went, let's get this Prem finished, and if the Champions League we do well, it's kind of a bonus?
I'm not sure, because I think, to be honest, Liverpool had the season before the Champions.
Yeah, that is true. They had it wrapped up in about, November, so that is a good point.
Yeah. But then, I mean, you never know with last season, they could have bottled it, pulled out. But yeah, I think they wanted to get far in the Champions League, but I think they weren't too disheartened with going out of it because they know they've achieved the Champions League in one season, and then the season after, they've got the league.
It's like they had so much success in that. It was kind of like, oh well, there's not much more we can do in that competition.
Yeah.
And obviously their main priority was the Premier League. Of course, they haven't won the Premier League yet. Obviously, they've won the top 5 before. So, I feel like this season, I think the draws were unfortunate as well for the English sides. Obviously, Chelsea getting Bayern, they're always, a fantastic team and really tough to play against. Especially, it seems like they perform well away as well. So that was always going to be a tough challenge, especially Lampard's first season in management in terms of like Champions League. That was always going to be tough. Tottenham, they were in a great run. Mourinho wasn't really working. Leipzig again, really good side this season. And obviously Liverpool, bit of a shock, but you know what Atletico Madrid are like, tough defensively, hard to score against. So it's I think it's a bit of both, kind of like it's just an unlucky draw, and I feel like the Premier League teams weren't as strong as they were last season in terms of like form, but it happens these kind of seasons. We're going to move on to another league. We're going to move on to La Liga for a little bit. Obviously, the first thing that comes into my head when I think of La Liga is Lionel Messi in Barcelona. In straight away, and obviously we've discussed Messi in a previous episode, and so we're not going to go into that kind of debate again. But like, is he one of the best ever? Not the best, but is he definitely like one of the best?
Yeah, I think so.
100%.
Like in terms of best players, where does he rank for you? Top 3, top 2? Because obviously we've had Ronaldo, Pele, Maradona, Ronaldinho. I can list 1,000 names. Does he make like that top 3? Is he that good?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
And do you think we currently have the top 2 playing now? Ronaldo, Messi. Do you think they're the best 2 ever?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because that kind of shows, and I think we kind of take for granted how good they are.
Yeah.
I feel like once they retire, I think we'll go, oh my, like we kind of, we should have paid more attention to how good they were.
Yeah.
Because saying that they're better than some of the names obviously I just listed off, like the Brazilian Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Maradona, Pele, so many more names, and the fact that they just take the top two and they're still playing, I think that really shows how good they are.
It was like when Ronaldo was playing for Madrid, the entertainment and the competition between them two every year. Ballon d'Or for Ronaldo, and then Ballon d'Or for Messi, and then Ballon d'Or for Ronaldo. It just goes on. It was just fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah.
The competition they've had for so many years.
Do you think that pushed both of them on? Wanting to be better than one, not maybe wanting to be better than one another, but just being the best they can.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I feel like Messi wouldn't have gone, I need to be better than Ronaldo. I don't think he would have looked at it like that, but I feel like they would have definitely been looking over each other's shoulder, kind of going like, Messi maybe scored like 2 this weekend. Let me try and score a hat trick, and
they'd be checking on each other's stats.
He won the Ballon d'Or this year, so I want to try and make sure I win it this year. So do you think kind of like if they didn't have that rivalry, they may have not been as good as they were, or do you think just that little bit of rivalry just pushed them that little bit extra?
I think they would have still been class players, but as you said, that rivalry just added on to what they were actually doing.
Just that little bit extra, just motivation for them.
Yeah,
because obviously a rivalry isn't going to make a player fantastic. I'm just kind of saying, that little bit of rivalry would have definitely just, I think, more motivation than making them a better player, for sure. Obviously, Barcelona, that Real Madrid rivalry kind of died off now, would you say? That in terms of because I remember there was a point, I think it must have been about 2011 till about 2016, everyone found out when the El Clasico was, and everyone will be so looking forward to it. They'd be like, it's like 3 weeks away, but now no one really cares, and that kind of shows the impact Ronaldo's had on that fixture. The fact that he's gone, Real Madrid doesn't have like that big name kind of attacker, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think that rivalry stopped as soon as Ronaldo left the club.
In terms of an exciting one, because obviously the rivalry between the fans will always be there, but in terms of like a neutral, I think it kind of died off there, which is unfortunate because so many of their games was just amazing. That Barcelona, Real Madrid, and it was annoying to see Ronaldo leave in a sense, because it's knowing that them two won't match up again or play against each other again many times. It's kind of like, oh god, or maybe even be on the same team. Even go that far. Say if one of them moves, that'll never happen. But just imagine them both being on the same team. That'd be incredible. But obviously, in recent years, Spain have been known to be kind of like the champions of the Champions League. Obviously, Real Madrid did the 3 years in a row, I think, and then, or I think it was like 4 and 6 years, something like that, or 4 and 5 years, which is just incredible. At that time, were Real Madrid the best team? Because you can win Champions League and you may not be the best, if you know what I mean. Because there might be other better teams, but do you think that that consistency to win it every year takes some doing?
I think they were one of the best teams. I wouldn't say they were the best, but as soon as they win one, they know how difficult it is to win it again. So I think they would have just worked hard, try to do what they've done when they've won it before, and the outcome was good for them every time they won it.
Because you can win Champions Leagues and not be the best team, because obviously you can look at different aspects of like what draw they got, who did they play, and all that. And sometimes you can just on the night you might just be the better team.
Yeah,
that can happen.
Sometimes even just luck makes you a better team.
Because there's a few times when Real Madrid did win those Champions Leagues, I was watching the games and I thought that's a bit of a dodgy decision, or that was a little bit suspect, where, and that was like them going out situations and they've just got this weird decision for them and they've gone through. It's kind of like it's just seemed a bit off. So I think at the time, I think they were definitely one of the best. And as well, it kind of showed the importance of Ronaldo because they struggled so badly when they left. I know that's kind of obvious because how many goals he scored a season for them. To lose that goals, you can't replace that or have the same the next season. But they've started slowly coming back, haven't they, and starting to build a little bit more and challenging for La Ligas. Do you think Real Madrid will ever get back to that dominance soon of winning Champions League consistently like that? Or do you think it will take them a few years now? There's so many good teams in Europe that they might struggle to win another one soon.
Yeah, I think it will take them a while to get back to where they were and start winning the Champions League again.
Yeah, because that's the problem now. There's so many teams that are up for the Champions League. It just makes it 10 times harder. Like a few years ago, you'd have Real Madrid, Barcelona. Either of them were going to win it. There wasn't really anyone else other than that where you'd confidently put money on. If you know what I mean. Like there's always like Juventus, but they never really achieved anything. PSG, massive underachievers in the Champions League. So for them to now to be like City, Liverpool, Bayern back better again. Juventus always going to be there as one of the challengers. PSG got this incredible team now. I think it will be difficult for Real Madrid to come back to what they were. Saying that, they have won 13 Champions Leagues, which is ridiculous, and obviously so the fans have an expectation. So I feel like kind of no fault of their own. They have to do well in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Because the fans are so used to them winning and the glory of it. If they don't perform, the fans might turn on like the club, and then you've got a whole. That's only because they'll have impatient fans because of how much they're used to winning. Because there'll be some fans who may have a little bit more thinking and go, oh, you know what, we've lost this. It might take us a while, but we'll have to see. Real Madrid, good team, but I always thought they had a few dodgy decisions go their way. But that's football, isn't it? Sometimes it's not fair, but. It's the way it is. And just to link that, because obviously we're going to rank these, 13 English sides won the Champions League. Spain have won it 18 times, Champions League. So just keep that in mind how many they've won as well. Because obviously we're not just ranking these leagues off who are the best now, like the best teams now. We'll look back at the past, how good they were. We'll consider all the aspects. So we'll just keep that one in mind. We're going to move on now to the Bundesliga for a little bit. Bayern usually dominate that league. Dortmund had their few years, didn't they, like 2012, 13, 14, where they challenged and won the league themselves. Do you think Bayern are a real contender for the Champions League now? Because obviously they haven't won it since 2013, but that performance against Chelsea was something really special. So do you think they could have a chance again?
I think if they get a little bit, maybe with the draws, I think they've got a brilliant team. I don't know if they'll be able to do it again. Teams like Barca, Juventus have got a good team. I think it would be, but it's like
it's a tough one with Bayern Munich because I feel like they're never favoured to win the Champions League. They're always favoured to do well. It's like they're just missing like that one player, or it's like they're always missing something. Obviously, I know they won it in 2013 when they terrifically knocked out Barcelona, beating them home and away. But I think obviously Guardiola couldn't win it. They haven't won it since. I feel like other than Bayern Munich, Germany don't have much else in terms of European, challengers. You got Dortmund, but they're always a good team, but they're not Champions League winning level, especially now as well.
Yeah.
Do you think Germany is in terms of a league is just now becoming just a one team league, or do you think maybe teams like RB Leipzig are now going to become the challengers to Bayern Munich, kind of like replace Dortmund in a way, or be on with Dortmund in challenging Bayern Munich. Because obviously they've got a fantastic team like Timo Werner. So do you think RB Leipzig, obviously they're such a young team, do you think in a far distant future, do you think they could be maybe up there? Is maybe one of the best European teams or up there? Because how young they are, because they haven't been around for long.
Yeah, I think domestically as a whole, I think it's quality team. I think over a few years, it's been Bayern like and then Dortmund challenging a bit, but I think Leipzig coming through. I think Leverkusen, they've got played.
Yeah, Europa League, they do okay. Yeah.
So I think it'd take a few years, I think, to get to Bayern's level. I think it could happen. It's a possibility.
Yeah, because the only problem with Leipzig, and I don't know if they would fall to this, but when you're kind of like not a small side, but a smaller side compared to the big European teams, it happens to Monaco where you have one really good season and then the big boys come in, offer big money for like the core of the team, and then after that you've got nothing left, which could be a possibility for RB Leipzig, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because you've already got talks of Timo Werner leaving, and that'd be massive loss. Because it's like I say with like all the big teams' main strikers, you can't replace that straight away. I don't care what you say.
Yeah,
it's like any like we're talking about Harry Kane. If he leaves Tottenham, they won't be able to replace his goals for a long time. I just hope, and I just want that to stop happening to teams, because they could actually become big challenges. Like Monaco, it happened to them. All their players left pretty much. Happened to Ajax last season. They had just one good Champions League campaign and all their team was gone. Yeah. And then you've got a team like RB Leipzig who may be following in the same steps as them, which is disappointing. But then when you've got the big teams calling and the big money, it's kind of hard for the club to say no, which is obviously massively disappointing. In terms of Germany, in terms of the Champions League, they've won. I think they've won 8 as a nation, 5 for it might have been 7 because I think it was 5 for Bayern, 1 for Dortmund, and 1 for Hamburg actually, who won it as well. So I think the Bundesliga is a league. I like watching it. I think they've got some exciting players. In Europe, I think they sometimes underachieve because mainly they've only got Bayern Munich to carry them. So, but I feel like in terms of their football, it's okay. I think it's similar to the Premier League when I've watched it. They kind of like the same kind of tempo, quick play. But we'll move on to, because I do want to get into the ranking part. We'll get into probably the complete opposite of the Premier League and the Bundesliga in terms of the pace of the game. We're going to move on to the Italian league. Known for its tactics and its stubborn defending. Obviously with Ronaldo, he's actually adapted to that. For Ronaldo, in terms of, because he changed his game massively, do you think a league like the Italian league was actually the right move for him? Kind of like a slowed down league? Because obviously he was getting older, so he had to adapt his game in some way. So obviously he became a striker and kind of like a target man. So maybe his legs couldn't take a quick pace league. So do you think it was a good move, or do you think he just wanted to conquer another league?
Yeah, I think he wanted to conquer another league. I think Ronaldo had it in him, he could have come back to the Premier League. I think he's still done.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted another chance.
Yeah, because he's kind of like another one off the bucket list in a way.
Yeah.
In terms of like, I've done this league now. I think he, like you were saying, I think he could have definitely, obviously he could have played in the Premier League in terms of like the pace, but it's going to get to a stage now where he can't do the pace of the Premier League. So I feel like the move to Juventus I thought was quite smart because it is about like the crossing, and obviously he's got great, like that header he scored I think this year, when he was like
Yeah, that was
above the defender's head
unbelievable.
in the air.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. So I think for Ronaldo, I think that was a good move. Obviously, the money was there as well, which is obviously going to, it's one of the main reasons he would have moved. But again, we're kind of finding themes in these leagues, and it's where they're just dominated by one team, which is can be boring at times, because the new season starts and you're like, oh god, these are going to win it, which is a little bit frustrating. Obviously, Inter Milan, I just want to discuss Inter Milan because they've had a few United players go over there. I just want to go on Ashley Young just a little bit. Were you surprised that he was able to get a move to Inter Milan? Because I know United fans weren't too impressed with some of his performances. So to get a move to Inter Milan, I thought was quite impressive by him, to be fair. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was surprising. Inter have obviously seen in it, maybe whether it is the slow paced game that's attracted him. Not got the legs of.
Yeah, I just found it really surprising that because obviously Inter Milan now, they were the last Italian team to actually win the Champions League 2010. I think they're starting to slowly start becoming one of the big boys again.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about, because I never really got to see that peak Inter Milan play.
Yeah.
So if they were to rebuild that again, I'd be interested to see that. Do you think Inter Milan could possibly win a league soon over Juventus? Depending on when that is, because obviously they're starting to build a decent team now, aren't they? It's like a stable team.
I think a few weeks before the seasons got voided, I think they were very close. I think at one point they were by.
Yeah, let me have a look.
I think it might be to Juventus. I think ahead of them, but they were really challenging, putting the
Yeah. So in these, we forgot to mention Lazio as well, because Lazio are 1 point behind them. Same games, and Inter Milan a game in hand, but would be 9 points behind Juventus. So they win that game, that's 6. So 6 and 1 point. I feel like if Inter Milan have a little bit of confidence and put trust in Conte, I think they'll actually go far, because I feel like that's kind of the problem with so many teams. Now it's like their manager they have 1 or 2 month bad spell of form and they sack them or get rid of them and panic. I just look at it and go, why are you panicking?
Like the Ancelotti sacking. That was
exactly
strange.
To be fair, I think he wanted to leave because obviously there was their stadium, weren't they getting something done to the stadium and something wasn't ready on time. I don't know if you remember that story. I can't remember what it was about. But because obviously Napoli dropped off massively. They were challenging Juventus.
Yeah.
And they dropped off. They're low in the league. I think they were mid-table. So if Inter Milan actually have confidence in their manager and the process that he obviously has, I think they could easily be up there for me.
I think. I mean, Atalanta as well. They're huge underdogs this season, and they're doing well. But it's whether or not are they just having a one-season wonder, or will they be able to keep it up? But I don't think they'll be challenging for the league anytime soon. But I think they need to build a solid before they challenge.
Because Atalanta, for me, come across more as like a Champions League team. Like, they'll definitely get Europe, but just not too consistent, or just whatever it is to challenge. So but Atalanta this season, Champions League quarter-finalists, they would have been absolutely smashed Valencia, home and away. Obviously, they conceded a few away. Drew to City at home as well. I think that's when their form in Europe was just turning as well. Because as well, I think they've got a massive respect. That was their first season in Europe.
Yeah, and
or if it wasn't their first for a while, anyway.
Yeah, and I think they beat Valencia in the knockout, or they were beating Valencia, something like that. But Ilicic has done well for them. But
big player.
It's whether can they hold on to him.
Exactly, that's always a problem, and it actually annoys me and frustrates me a lot. Even when they're not even a team that I follow or anything, because it's like, I think I'm always going to go back to it, and we'll discuss it more when we move on to the French league. That Monaco side, without a shadow of a doubt, could have become one of the best teams in Europe. I don't even care what anyone says. The potential they had in that team was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, obviously, when the big teams come in, you're going to go. But, like, I feel like, unless you weren't given, certain, certainties, it's like, they're part of the future of a massive club. If they don't somehow they don't realise it, then they don't realise it. But it's like Monaco, honestly, because I remember watching them, because I actually went to the game they played, the away leg that they played to City. Yeah, they got beat 5-3, conceding 5 goals. The keeper had a bit of a mare that night. But I mean, some of the football they played was like frightening, and that was like pre-prime Mbappe. They had like Falcao, Bernardo Silva. That's when Mendy was an absolute beast at left back. Like then, at that time, it was totally understandable why City paid 50 million for him. Because at that time, the attributes he had, he was bound to be the best left back in the world. Obviously, injuries have so badly affected his potential. But I mean, I feel like with Atalanta, that could happen again. But I think for them, which they're quite lucky about, they don't have too many big names in terms of like that could attract people, because they'd have Ilicic, Gomez maybe, but he's getting on a little bit. But I think other than that, they don't have too many big names really. So I think a lot of their players could maybe stay.
Yeah, and I think that they're very good players. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think a team like a Champions League chasing team like Real Madrid would sign them, which 100%. Gives Atalanta hope to hold on to them. Yeah,
no, I completely agree. That's a good point. But I think the Italian league, again, in Europe, like I always like to link to underachieving a little bit. Juventus obviously got to a final, got to a few finals recently, but like they don't strike me as a team ever who have the credentials to win it. Yeah. Like I said before, obviously when they got to the finals, that's when Barcelona and Real Madrid were at their peak. So unfortunately for them, they were getting to finals at a time where they would never have been favourites to win it. And now, I feel like it's even harder to become a favourite because there's so many good European sides. Yeah. Obviously, they've got Ronaldo, so that's a massive help straight away. But for sure, I feel like Italian football, with the way they're structured, if they kind of maybe start to do well in Europe, I feel like in terms of getting the most teams the furthest, I feel like their league could be the most consistent at that. Hopefully, anyway, for the Italians, because I feel like with English football, you'll get like maybe City and Liverpool going through, Germany, maybe just Bayern Munich, Spain, Barca, Real Madrid. You've kind of got one or two teams from each league. But I feel like in the future with Italy, in terms of like getting to the round of 16 in the Champions League, you could easily see them get like all 4 of their teams, or however many they're allowed to qualify. Like the Inters, Juventus, Atalanta, Lazio's. I feel like in terms of consistency and getting the furthest, I feel like the Italians may have the better future of that, of getting the most teams through.
Yeah,
but again, we have to see, don't we?
Yeah.
Last league before we go into a little bit of ranking is Ligue 1.
Oh my god, my mic's been on mute the whole time.
Oh, has it?
I was talking to myself. I was like, wait, can you?
I'm not gonna lie. You weren't talking. I just thought you just didn't have anything to say, so I didn't want to ask. Anyway, you've not missed the most important part, so it's okay.
Okay.
Ligue 1, heavily criticised. Would you agree with that? Because it does seem like PSG steamroll it every year without any, competition from anyone else. So would you agree with
that? I mean,
it's hard to disagree, really.
Yeah, PSG just too. Yeah,
And when you got the money they've got as well.
Yeah.
Like they're on like similar levels to City, aren't they? In terms of their money. So it can be wrong for them to not be dominating it. But like it other than that Monaco, which we'll go into a little bit more detail in a minute, there's just no one else that stands out in that league. That goes.
It's like
that kind of go. Oh, they could challenge because you had Monaco, and then they dropped off straight away.
Yeah. It's like everyone's in a way challenging for second. Like, teams will go for the league, but they just PSG.
They aim for second. They aim for second and third because they know they cannot physically get anywhere near PSG. Which I feel bad for the French league in terms of supporters of other teams, because your team's unfortunately got no chance of winning the league, other than when obviously Monaco did structure that fantastic team that got them the league in 2016-17. But like I said, they got completely ransacked and they lost their the core of their team. Going on to that, do you think if they kept them players together, do you think they really could have challenged Europe and maybe challenged PSG consistently for a title?
Who's this? Monaco.
Monaco, that team. You know. Yeah.
I think they would have challenged, because if you look at the players who they've sold, they've pretty much worked at the club they've gone to. So like obviously you've got your Bernardo Silva to City, your Mbappe, and I think if they just kept them players and started like to build again, I think they would have been a good challenge.
Yeah, because it's like they had a good foundation of counter-attacking football, and like because obviously we've now seen the full potential of the players they had. We know how good Mbappe is. We know how good Bernardo Silva was. Like we know how good Mendy can be. Obviously before his injury, Lamar, we knew how good he was. Fabinho, obviously now in that really successful Liverpool side, we now know how good they could have been. And for some of the players as well, it didn't work leaving. Like Bakayoko moved to Chelsea. He's back at Monaco now.
It didn't last long. Chelsea.
But so for some, obviously for a majority of them it works. But I just feel looking at the quality those players have now and what they could have been. Obviously they got to a semi-final of the Champions League when they had that squad. I just feel like they could have. Obviously it's so difficult to keep all of them because the money they would have been offered. It's like you can't say no to it.
I think if they kept that team together, I think last season, see that not like them, Liverpool.
Yeah, because I feel like with that team they had time on their hands. Like they could have been up there with challenging maybe semi-finals, quarter-finals, possibly a final consistently for so many years because their team was actually so young. Like people forget, like they had the young Mbappe, Bernardo Silva would have been 22, 21 when he was there. Mendy would have been 21, 22 Bakayoko, early 20s. Fabinho would have been 23, 24. More of a experienced defence at the time of like late 20s, early 30s, but still how young they were and how well of a fixed team they were. I think they could have been something special. I think.
Yeah.
But it's football. It's mainly about money at the end of the day. So, unfortunately for Monaco, they've gone on a massive downhill, haven't they? And they just avoided relegation or something last year. They were definitely down there for a majority of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, they tried to bring in new signings with the money they got. None of them really worked. So
Henry didn't work as manager.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was poor decision from him. Obviously, he wasn't to know he wasn't going to work like that. But I think now they're slowly getting back up. I think in terms of a team, which is good. Fabregas, Ben Yedder. Still got some of the players around from that team. So I don't think they'll ever get close to where they were then again, or for a very long time. But I feel like that 2016-17 Monaco team needs massive respect. for what they did. 45 minutes in of talking about the 5 leagues. We're going to now start getting to the rankings. Nice, we're going to rank them first. And then I will come up with a wee debate topic. I'll come up with, I'll see if I've got one. Right, 5th. We'll go 5th to 1st. I straight away want to put up League One. Or League One, should I say. Straight away. I don't even want to debate that. There's no way they are getting anywhere else because there's
no debate.
It's literally PSG every time. Monaco could have challenged it, but obviously, when money comes involved, you've got to lose some of your best players sometimes. So yeah, I don't think we can disagree on that really. 4th. Any ideas? I think that's a tough one. That
I put Syria.
Yeah, Italian league.
Yeah.
I think I just sway that way, mainly because for me they haven't been dominant enough in Europe.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the problem with France as well. They hadn't as well. They'd only won one. The PSG haven't won the Champions League yet. The only French team to win the Champions League was Marseille in '93. So, and then again with Italy, they haven't been too dominant in Europe for many years. They haven't won many Champions Leagues. Juventus won it the last time in '96. So that's 24 years straight away. I feel like just the way the league is, obviously they've got some good players. It's mainly a one league team, so I definitely agree with that. So we'll put Serie A in 3rd. 3rd, we've got the Premier League, we've got Bundesliga and La Liga left. Who's coming in on the podium spot of 3rd, do we think?
I will go. I go.
It's just disconnected. Do you want to say that again? Literally.
Yeah, I'd say Bundesliga.
Bundesliga. I'm not sure if I'm going to be honest. I don't know because I look at it as the I don't know. Because I was going to say in terms of the league I enjoy watching, I really enjoy the Bundesliga.
Yeah, I think the Bundesliga's full of upsets.
But then at the same time, you look at La Liga and you see Barcelona and Real Madrid and the calibre of teams they've got, Valencia, Atletico Madrid, all those teams. So, Ben, would you agree Bundesliga 3rd, just below La Liga?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think as well, when you've got a league with Messi in, and he's still at his best, it's kind of hard to put the league he's in at 3rd. So I would just agree with the Bundesliga 3rd. Great league. I think they're in terms of an exciting league. I think they're just one below the Premier League in terms of excitement. But that leads to the top 2. I have a feeling who's going to be 2nd and 1st. Are we all going to agree on La Liga 2nd?
Yeah.
Good league. Obviously, ITV4 did televise a few of their of the games, didn't they? I think last season.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching some of them. Messi, obviously, just insane. That Messi Suarez combination. Obviously, Messi and Neymar when he was around. Obviously, 2011. When they beat United in the Champions League final, that was labelled as one of the greatest ever teams. So they've got just a history of the Spanish league of just being giants in Europe and and Barcelona and Real Madrid just dominating their leagues. And obviously they had that time where they dominated international football as well. 2010 World Cup, 2012 Euros. They have just great history behind the league. So I'd definitely go with La Liga 2nd. So that leaves us with the
Premiership.
The Premier League is 1st. What is it about the Premier League that is the most exciting thing about it for you?
Entertainment.
Just how quick the game is. Just the pace of it, because the pace it's the quickest league it's the quickest league in Europe in terms of the pace of the game. It's mad. Because obviously the referees are kind of told to kind of, if the game can go on, play advantage, even if it's the most reckless challenge ever. If it's if there's an advantage, play it. which is a little bit ridiculous, but makes it exciting, like you said, Ben.
Yeah.
And I think as well, I feel like in terms of like a British culture and society, I feel like the rivalries are much more, I don't know, like deeper. Like they mean a lot more, and there's more of them. It's like in the other leagues, you got like Real Madrid, Barca. That's like the only big rivalry I can really pull out from there, and then maybe Real Atletico. So that's 2. Italy, what even is like AC Milan, Inter? That's the only one there. And then Juventus against like the big teams. And Germany, you've got like Bayern, Dortmund. And you've got no one like Leipzig, Bayern. Again, only 2 derbies.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't live in Germany, like Italy and all that, so we don't know if there's any deeper rivalries. But I mean, like in terms of the Prem, in terms of well known, you've got like the North London derby, Chelsea, Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham. Even that's a massive derby. Merseyside, United, Liverpool, the Manchester derby. There's so many more, and it just makes the league so much more interesting because there's so many derbies to look forward to.
And it's like United have derby. Well, not derbies, but like big rival teams.
Some of them they're not even derby. Like you said, like United Liverpool isn't like a derby, like in that sense.
It's just a very game.
It's just a heated rivalry.
Yeah.
It's like obviously this rivalry's died off massively, but that United Arsenal rivalry that used to be such a intense rivalry. Yeah, Vieira, Roy Keane, Highbury, Old Trafford. It was just such a big rivalry. So in terms of history, I think as well the Premier League really brings some of the best games and I think overall like we've decided the best league. So as I was doing my notes, I wrote down the order I would have gone with. So I started with who I thought was going to be top and then finished with bottom. So I did go with the exact same order.
Yeah.
I went Prem, La Liga, Bundesliga just. If I could have joint second, I'd have La Liga, Bundesliga joint second, but we can't. And then Serie A fourth, and obviously Liga always going to be last. If you're watching this as a video, because this will be available after, put in the comments what your top 5 would be. See if it's the same to ours. I'm happy with ours. Are you happy with that as well?
Yeah.
I think we'll have good reasoning for them. We're coming up to an hour. We've got about 8 minutes till an hour, so we can fit in one wee debate topic depending on how it goes. So, got my list here. As you are United fans, I'll ask a United-based one. For me, I remember talking to you, Harvey, about the sign in January of Agallo and how strange I thought that was. I thought, what is signed Agallo for? Like, what a random signing. Do you think he'll actually succeed at United? Do you think he'll actually be like an okay player? Obviously, he won't start. I get that, but I mean, in terms of off the bench, I think he's got a great record so far.
Yeah.
Firstly, were you surprised at signing, and secondly, are you surprised of how well he's doing?
Completely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he came to United, and he's on less money than he's a massive United supporter, so he's pretty much done anything to play for United. Obviously played against them. He's played for Watford.
Yeah.
Massive United fan. So he's on lower money than he was in China, and he's actually proved himself.
Yeah, I've been surprised how good.
Yeah.
Do you think because he has that history of United, supporting them and all that, do you think that just gives him more motivation to do well, and that's maybe why he is doing so well? He's kind of like, this club actually means a lot to him, so he plays with a lot more passion in that kind of sense.
Because it means a lot to him. He wants to impress, like.
Maybe not even for the fans, just for himself. In his heart, and he's like, I need to play well. I'm at this level. But in terms of the role he's been signed for, obviously like emergency backup. Do you think he'll succeed at United in that role? Do you feel like he'll always be that trustworthy striker that if things are going wrong and he comes on, you won't be like, oh, it's Agallo. You'll be like, oh, Agallo's come on. We could come up with something here.
No, I don't think that's the case. I think when you see Agallo ready to come on, it's like, oh, Agallo's coming on. Hopefully, he can get a goal.
Yeah.
Like, you know he can finish. If you remember that goal when I don't remember who it was, but it was in the empty stadium. But he
Yeah, the
flicked it
last Europa League
right
game.
foot.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
If you
Right
haven't seen
foot,
that,
right
YouTube
foot.
it. That was a really good goal.
Yeah.
The Europa League.
That was a finish. That was a finish.
That was a finish. Superb volley.
Yeah.
Like I just to finish off with Agallo. When you first signed him, without using any bad language, what was your initial reaction when you signed him?
Matters.
My jaw touched the floor.
Even mine did, and I was laughing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was just like, because I feel like we don't really remember Agallo is what we should. He was actually a really good striker for Watford, and had a really good goal scoring record. But I feel like you said, Ben, I think for the role he's been signed for, and what he's shown us so far, I think he'll be a success at United for what you brought him in for. Which is obviously a good move from Solskjaer. You got to give respect when it's due. If Solskjaer did have a big say in that signing, then he's done well. Picked up a good backup striker for sure. I think he'll bring consistency and just like I said, I think he'll just bring a lot of passion to the to the team and when he plays. So I agree with that one. We're coming up just short of an hour. I don't want to go much more over because I feel like if we fit one more topic in, we may. So I am just going to end it there. I think it's been a good discussion tonight. I want to say thank you to Ben and Harvey for joining me. Currently, not done the description yet for the video, but when I do it, check out Ben's channel, Bruntsy, description.
Oh, yeah.
You might be there when you're watching it, but right now, as we're live, I've not done the description yet. So make sure you do that. Remember, Sunday, special episode, Scottish football. Check it out. Let me know what you think when that is out. And thank you again, you two. Make sure you subscribe, like, notifications on, and I'll see you Sunday and Tuesday as well for 2 new episodes in the next week. Thanks for watching.